Vanilla Ice was born October 31st, 1967 in Dallas, Texas. By the age of 13, he took a liking to breakdancing, riding dirt bikes, and writing rap music. And in 1990, at the age of 22, he released his album To the Extreme, which featured the hit single Ice Ice Baby. And the success of this record would change Vanilla Ice's life forever. He went on to date Madonna for a short while. He made a movie called Cool as Ice. He was nearly killed by Suge Knight, and this fast-paced lifestyle did catch up with him by 1994, before later turning his life around. But man, what Vanilla Ice has done since that dark chapter of his life is just absolutely unbelievable, is crazy impressive. He turned out to be very successful, and the reason we're talking about him today is most of his success is not from music, is from real estate.
The answer to all your money problems is make more money.
If nobody's bidding against you and it's an absolute auction, you can steal these homes for pennies on the dollar.
Palm trees and sunshine, it's what it's all about.
To be honest, I was kind of too young when Vanilla Ice first became popular, so I was never all that in touch with him or his music or his career, but I actually had a lot of fun putting this video together. Today, let's talk about the incredible story of how this guy went to an absolute real estate tycoon. Vanilla Ice's real estate journey started in 1992 out in Florida when he bought his first house. He fixes it up himself. Then he goes on to sell it, and he actually makes a pretty decent profit. This is when Vanilla Ice realizes that there must be something to this, and by 1998, he started getting pretty heavy into home renovation projects, buying up houses all over the country.
Well, I had bought other houses around the country, and I actually never really saw them because I went on tour for 3 years. And I thought, okay, well, I'm young, I'm dumb, maybe I blew all that money. So I bought these homes, and then I said, shit, I went on 3 years. I never saw them. I go, dumb. I thought I'd lost money on them. And I go, I just blew a lot of money. Wow. And I go, let's just sell them all. And I sold them all, and they sold really quick, and I made millions.
It's very fascinating to hear his initial strategy because he wasn't doing remodels at first. He's just sitting on these houses. Usually you hear about people buying houses, fixing them up and selling them, or buying them, fixing them up, and then putting tenants in there. But he just sat on them as if he was just kind of putting his money into a bank. Some people aren't fans of their money just sitting around in the bank, though. They'd rather have that money tied up in a physical asset like real estate. So from that standpoint, it wasn't a horrible idea for him to do this, especially because he was buying in good markets. But the good markets factor is a huge factor in Vanilla Ice's success here. He ended up being very good at one thing in the beginning, and that was picking a great location.
Basically boils down to location. That's still and always will be your money mark.
See, during this window that he was scooping up real estate around areas like Florida and Texas, the real estate market really was heating up. Through the 1990s, we had pretty average appreciation rates. Home prices increased at the rate of about 2.5% per year on average throughout the US. But from the year 2000 to the year 2007, the average cost of a home went up by about 250%. And it was even better in some of the stronger markets. This means that if you were Vanilla Ice, or anybody for that matter, who was buying houses in the late 90s to the early 2000s, and you were buying houses to just sit on them, you were setting yourself up for a crazy payday, as long as you sold these houses before the 2008 crash.
I think the most important thing is that, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. Take it day by day. And, know your markets. You keep compounding your money over and over and over and over, and it's called generational wealth.
Now, the Steve-O interview here doesn't clarify exactly when he decided to just sell them all, but based on the timeline of everything else that happened in his life, I'm guessing that he just got really lucky and he timed the market perfectly and sold everything in probably 2006 or 2007. Most people who were invested in real estate back then completely lost their shirt, so yeah, hats off to him for having absolutely perfect timing. At this point, after selling all these houses, Vanilla Ice has racked up millions of dollars from his success in real estate, and he's still bringing in money from his music career too, plus some other random appearances in movie and TV shows. shows. It was 2010 when he actually started a reality TV series called The Vanilla Ice Project on the DIY network. This show was initially focused on him remodeling his mansion in Palm Beach, one room at a time.
We take these houses who have been sitting for years, abandoned, kind of rotten, and we turn them into something amazing. They're in great neighborhoods, but they just, whether it's a foreclosure, short sale, or whatever.
The Vanilla Ice Project went on to document more of his house flip projects around Palm Beach. This show ran for 9 seasons and 105 episodes before they stopped filming in 2019. I've never been a huge TV guy, and like I said at the beginning of this video, I've also never been big into Vanilla Ice, so unfortunately I missed all 105 of those episodes. But if any of you guys watched that show, let me know down in the comments how it was. Now, I did not realize this at all when I first started putting this video together, but Vanilla Ice is actually like really legit. He's very sharp, he's very knowledgeable just about real estate in general and the construction process.
There's a lot of money in Palm Beach, and I know my market there, so I don't drift away too much from that area because I know it very well, and I think that's very important.
I go to seminars all the time. I learn things, We don't just start off with a game plan. We let it evolve along the way. We change color palettes, we add, we take away these things, we move walls.
It turns out Vanilla Ice is a licensed contractor. He went to design school so that he could save money on his house flips by being his own designer. And apparently he's actually pretty handy too. He does a lot of the work himself on these projects.
I'm into this now 31 years, so I got my GC license 26 years ago, and I went to design school 18 years ago and got a degree. So for me, it's been a long time.
So where I got my initial inspiration to do this video was partly from this article on Realtor.com combined with that Steve-O interview we were looking at earlier. They kind of put together a collection of houses that Vanilla Ice owns right now, which based on my quick review of these houses, I'm going to guess that these places are ones that he's just kind of sitting on and letting appreciation do his thing. The first one they give us is this one, or there's actually 2 houses here right next door to each other in St. Augustine, Florida. Found some photos of this green one here. Both of these houses are located on an island called Rattlesnake Island. Not sure if that's an island that I would want to live, but apparently he paid $620,000 for one of these and $840,000 for the other one. And as far as I can tell, it doesn't seem like these things need remodeled, so yeah, I don't know if he's holding them as a rental or what. Sticking to the Florida theme, in Lake Worth, he owns 3 houses that are right next door to each other, so I guess that's his thing, is buying homes that are all kind of in a line. That does make things pretty smooth and easy if you own these houses as rental properties. It makes it easy on your property manager, that's for sure, when they've got all the houses right next door to each other. In Loxahatchee, Florida, he scooped up this little guy for $206,000. They say he owns 3 more houses in Northport, Florida. So now we're up to what, like I think 6? I guess Vanilla Ice is originally from Texas, so he bought this one in Spring, Texas. He paid around $300,000, they're saying, for it. It's an old brick home. And then they posted this listing here as well. I don't even know if Vanilla Ice still owns this spot. It's currently available for rent though. And what's fascinating about this one is, according to the article anyway, this is actually where he used to live. So it's pretty crazy to look at this because to me, this does not at all seem like a house that Vanilla Ice would live in. It's just kind of very cookie cutter. But yeah, this is a house he lived in at some point, and now if you feel like living in Vanilla Ice's old house, you can. It's just gonna cost you $6,000 a month. It's weird, just about all of these houses seem kind of random, especially compared to some of the more extravagant houses that you see Vanilla Ice working on his TV show. Like, he was doing crazy houses around Palm Beach on that show. He lived on Star Island himself in Miami Beach for a while, which is one of the most expensive places that you can possibly live.
This year we've got a lot of cool, super futuristic things to showcase. We got James Bond doors. So they're made of like a tempered glass, and they're all lit up, and you can't even really tell it's a door. Kind of like the old bookcase switcheroo, but a door there, and you just come up to it and it'll automatically open. It makes no noise. So we got a lot of cool things like that, and a lot of switches that you don't actually have to touch. You just kind of move your hand in front of it 4 inches and it'll turn on or off.
I get the impression that he's just continuing to do that whole buy it and chill strategy with a lot of the real estate that he owns, which means that you don't need to buy the coolest house on the block or the fanciest house in the neighborhood. You just need to buy a good house in a good location, and if you do that, your house is probably going to double or more in value once every roughly 10 years. Okay, so this has nothing to do with real estate, you guys, but this came up during my research on Vanilla Ice, and I just had to throw it in here. So I guess there's an Ice Ice Baby controversy, and this article lays it all out.
It took on a life of its own. I never could expect what happened with, you know, To the Extreme, that record with
Sure.
Ice Ice Baby on it, and it's phenomenal. It's over 600 million records sold right now.
Wait, what?
600 million or more.
For the full album?
Yes, To the Extreme still sells 3 to 5 million per year, sometimes more.
As the song was like climbing up the charts all over the world in literally 10 different countries, it was going to the top of the charts. Some people were getting a little bit disgruntled by this because it turned out the main riff from Ice Ice Baby was actually kind of ripping off the song by David Bowie called Under Pressure. A bunch of lawyers got involved. They tried to sue Vanilla Ice for copyright infringement, which he defended himself. He said that, oh, I was just sampling that song. You're totally allowed to do that in the rap industry. And so this actually shows the differences in the notes, the bass line. There's literally one additional note that's added to Ice Ice Baby compared to Under Pressure. That original Under Pressure song was actually done by David Bowie and Queen, so it's a little confusing, but the case ended up getting settled by Vanilla Ice paying Queen $4 million and giving 4 members of the Queen band credits on the Vanilla Ice album for his song. This video is amazing though. So this is a video from way back then of Vanilla Ice defending himself and trying to explain how his song is different from the Queen song. Check this out.
We sampled them from him, but it's not the same bass line. Like it goes ding 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 diggy ding ding, ding 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 diggy ding ding, ding ding ding. That's the way theirs goes. Ours goes ding 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 diggy ding ding. Ding, 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 ding.
Nowadays, Vanilla Ice has a pretty active social media presence. He's got a huge following on Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube. So if you're curious what he's up to lately, you'll find plenty of him there. With his wild history of drug use and partying, his life could have turned out very, very different than it did. So it is super cool to see how Vanilla Ice ultimately turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you next week.
John Foss.